Tied one game apiece with the Heat. There's optimism that Jimmy Butler will be able to go. He's been sidelined with that ankle since game one. SA, what's your confidence level for the New York Knicks in game three?
My confidence level is still up there. It's not as pristine as I would like it to be. After all, you get there a night before, so a night before a game in South Beach does concern me. But they're disciplined, they're focused, they understand what's at stake. It's all about Julius Randle hitting his shot. He'll need to hit his shot in this series. When he doesn't hit his shot, he doesn't do a lot of other things right, and the ball doesn't move with the fluidity that I like. I think he will hit his shot. I think he will be potent. I think Brunson will be potent. I think the New York Knicks split the next two games. They go back to the Garden, tied 2-2 in this series.
Okay, let's keep it going. Staying in the East, Celtics, Sixers,
playoffs. I know I'm in New York right now as we record this. I normally say my location. I went to the Knicks Heat game, game 2.
You're dressed like a New Yorker today. Black hoodie with the black beanie.
I packed all sweats, man. You know, I'm out here. I got my cast off, so I'm in all sweats every day, except for I'll do TV this week and I'll be in a suit. But other than that, I'm in all sweats. The Garden was rocking, man. I hadn't been in the Garden. I haven't gone to a game in the Garden besides playing in it ever. Let's just say that. And I have never seen a playoff game in the Garden. I've only seen playoff games in Golden State, in Cleveland, in Boston, and somewhere else. So I've seen those types of atmosphere, obviously finals and conference finals. But to see a round 2, game 2, it was rocking. And I think this is a good series. That's an underrated series. Obviously, there's a lot of injuries and stuff. But I want to talk about Jalen Brunson. Under 6 foot, great midi, great story in terms of, you know, how he went to Villanova, you know, multiple chips with Josh Hart, becomes teammates with Josh Hart again, plays with Luka for a while, gets to learn from Luka, play alongside Luka, then kind of figure out how his game is going to go to the next level. Luka gets hurt, gets to kind of show out, right? 40-baller 2 in the playoffs. Dallas offers him a deal. I think he ends up declining it, and then they're not able to come to terms. He signs in New York on what people say is an outrageous deal, right? $104 million over 4 years, I believe. And now it's looking like a bargain. He's leading. He's winning. He's hitting big shots down the stretch, and he's under 6 foot. While he does all of this, it makes the game look easy. And I think this is an important factor here. Skills matter, and I think a lot of kids think you got to be athletic, you got to be tall. Like, no, you need to work on your game. You need to have good footwork. You need to have a solid understanding of fundamentals, be able to hit a pull-up, make your free throws, be able to hit a floater because you can't dunk on everybody, and you got to be able to shoot, catch, and shoot threes. And I think this is a guy who's a 3-level scorer at 5'11", who was top 5 in the NBA in paint percentage points in terms of like what he shoots in that, like, I don't know, 4 to 8 feet, which is basically like the floater, but he shoots it as a jumper because it's like 7 feet away. And he has an elite post game. And they're doing all of this without having Julius Randle in game 1. And Miami's doing all of this in terms of maybe she probably should have won game 2, if I'm being honest, without Jimmy and without Hero. This is a crazy series. Like, what are you guys' thoughts on this series so far? And then we can get into Jalen Brunson because
I got so many thoughts, but IT's got to go first.
My thoughts, it's one of them old school series, I think, being played. Very physical. It's just like they're two really good, well-coached teams that don't always need their stars to win. And that says a lot about how coached they are, how much they believe in each other, next man up mentality. And I feel like those two teams are destined for a 7-game series. Like it just seems like, because nobody's the favorite in any game. Like you would think the Knicks would have been the favorite last game without Jimmy Butler. But it was like you said, the Heat had that game. Like it seemed like they should have won that game, but due to Brunson, Julius Randle, the New York Knicks energy in the Garden, like they snuck one out of there, which was huge for them to go to Miami tied 1-1. So, you know, it's going to be a good series. I got it going 7, though. I got it going 7.
All right, let me start here, because when I close my eyes and listen to you talk about Jalen Brunson, even though I don't like see the game when I watch them, I hear prime Tim Hardaway. Like you talk about, you know, can pull up from the outside, can, the mid-range where he kind of looks like a jumper. It's like a push shot or whatever, even though it's a shorty. The post-up game, the smart decision-making. I'm like, it's kind of like a lefty Tim Hardaway. Maybe not all the wiggles and the fast, in the fast break with the crossover and stuff, but that's pretty high praise, especially for me coming from a Heat guy. But I like that you're saying it's going to go 7. I think it's Heat in 5. I think the Knicks probably a little bit demoralized after that game. I'm not going to really harp on, because this is what losers do. I'm not going to harp on the fact that the refs should have let that Gabe Vincent basket go and then review it to see if it was a 24-second violation, because it clearly hit the rim, and that was turning a 3-point game into a 1-point game. But I'm not going to get into that, or the fact that Scott Foster's 6-0 against the Heat this year in the regular season. Not going to get into that. I just want to say that I feel like it's crazy how these teams, like you mentioned Tibbs and how well they're coached, but you're right. It doesn't matter who has to do it. It could be Hart. It could be RJ Barrett. It could be, Julius Randle on one game. And then the part that I just didn't see coming is the Heat being able to do that without Jimmy, given everything that he has done for them. But to me, what that tells me is one of the things that he has done for that team, which goes unnoticed or unsaid, is instill confidence in these guys. Because if I'm, Max Strus or Duncan Robinson or Bam, even, who's always being asked to do more and more and more, like if I didn't have Jimmy's backing, I would probably wet myself out there. I'd probably be like, it's not really my spot. We're missing Jimmy. Let's just get this game over with. And so I think, I don't know, you guys tell me, from a playoff series game to the next, does that momentum carry over? Because the Knicks, I would imagine if the Heat go on a little bit of a run, the Knicks got to be thinking, man, like we had a chance and we blew it in that game 1, and now they got Jimmy back and we might be screwed.
This is what I think. I think you're right about the Heat probably winning this series because of how well they've competed and show that they can compete without Jimmy. Like the fact that, like you said before, they could rely on Vincent, Strus, Martin. Martin had a great game the other night. Makes big plays, plays defense, does all the little things, like an ideal role player, can catch and shoot. You got Cody Zeller, who comes in and just bangs, gives you great minutes. Kyle's coming off the bench, playmaking, making the right plays defensively, big shot maker, big shot taker if you need him down the stretch. And you got Duncan Robinson, who didn't play for more than half of the season, shoots 100% basically, true shooting percentage in round 1, and comes in and gets up 7 to 10 3-point attempts a game at a high clip. Like, they just get it done. Spo coaches really well. He mixes in zone. He mixes in different matchup zones. Bam Adebayo, he's going to do what he does. Like, I think if you look at the matchup right now, it has to be leaning towards the Heat. With the split going back home, it's not a series until you went on the road. Miami went and won game 1 on the road, and they showed that they probably should have won game 2, and it took a Herculean effort, right? Jalen had to get 30. RJ basically had 16 in the first quarter. I think he had 20 in the first half or 22 in the first half. Like, it took their big 3 to basically all get, call it 26 on average between the 3 of them, and they win by 6 at home in basically what was a must win. So I think it goes back to Miami. Jimmy gets 6 days in between games because he took off already. So they win game 3. I think they win game 4, lose game 5. So I would say Miami in 6, but that's basically 5 because they should have won game 2 as well. But I think I say all this to say, I could be wrong, just like I was wrong about the Suns in Denver. I thought there's no way they go down 0-2, and they did. So that's my spiel.
Well, I got a 7. You got a 6.
Who you got in 7 though? Who you have in 7?
I'm gonna go with the Heat.
Okay. So that means
I kind of piggybacking on what you're saying about the Knicks played so well and they still snuck a win out. Like, that's tough. And that's like bulletin board things you write down. Like, when you lost game 2, you're like, we didn't have Jimmy Butler. We don't have Hero either that we keep forgetting about. And we still had an opportunity to win game 2 on the road. So I got the Heat in 7.
No victor either.
Oh, no victor either.
No victor. Could you imagine a game 7 in the Garden to go to the conference finals?
That's how you know you're a real celebrity. What seats you get at a game 7?
What seat do you get?